after having sold over $1.8 million in e-commerce until now, I realized there are a lot of questions that people have and ways that people do e-commerce that ultimately ends up in failing because they don't get the foundations right. They don't understand why certain things work and others don't. And so in this video, I really want to go into the topic of choosing a product and how to choose a product that you can actually scale and make millions with it, right? And so when people are choosing products, most of the time what you hear about in the internet is like, oh, is it trending on TikTok? Is it a trendy product? Is it selling a lot in certain platform, whatever, and you jump on the product and all of a sudden you expect to make a lot of money from it, and then no wonder it dies out a few months afterwards. And it not work, and it doesn't work. You don't make any money. You make low profits, whatever, and you wonder like what's the reason why, right? And I found that one of the biggest reasons for e-commerce and basically making you a lot of money with this business is not actually having to do anything with about trending and anything, but rather about one simple thing, that is TAM. Okay, TAM stands for Total Addressable Market, and Total Addressable Market is extremely important, especially for low ticket to medium ticket products. Okay, if you're selling high ticket products like 500 plus products or 1,000 plus products where you have a lot of margin net profit per sale, then you don't need a huge TAM because you're going to make a lot of money per sale. But a lot of people focus on low to mid ticket products. They build stores and brands around these products, and when you're looking at these products, TAM is extremely important. It can literally be the difference between having a $1 million brand a year or a $10 million brand a year. Just simply purely because of TAM. If you don't make any more creatives, a brand can have $10 million a year in revenue with like the same amount of creatives and the same amount of effort than a brand with $1 million a year, simply because they have a higher TAM. And so this is how important this is, right? Because what happens is when you have a higher TAM, you can scale more, and it will give you stable profit margins, which is extremely important in this business. So I'm gonna explain you exactly how this works and why it matters so much, right? So to understand how this works, you have to look at how meta ads work. And there are a lot of people that I think don't know exactly how meta ads work and why it's so important for scaling. Okay, and so when you have meta, you have like your target audience, right, which is in the center here, and then you have more people that are like not as interested in your products, so these people will be here, and then you also have like people that are not interested at all in your products. So this will be even larger. So the higher the TAM, the higher this circle on the inside will be, right? The higher it will be, and so more people you have to sell. And I wanted to show you this graph here because it's very insightful when looking at the TAM and why it's so impactful. And if you look at this graph, you have like on the y-axis, you have the cost per acquisition, and then you have the ad spend on the x-axis. And so what happens when you start meta ads is that you have your pixel, right? And the pixel doesn't have any data. And so when you start selling, what happens is that Meta doesn't know who your customer is. And so Meta will try to find the customer, and as it finds the customers and starts selling more and more, you'll basically have more the Meta will have more information to say, okay, I already know what's the type of customer that this brand is looking after. So I'm going to deliver the ads to the ideal customer. And so your CPA, your cost per acquisition, will go down to the optimal point, where is this green part here, essentially when you are at your lowest cost per acquisition. And here it's very good because you're maximizing your profit margins because your cost of acquisition is really down. But then after it starts selling and squeezing out of all of your the central part here that we were talking, right? This central circle here, when it starts squeezing, like selling to all of these people, it doesn't have these people anymore to show the ads to, right? And so it will begin selling to the higher circles, like these people here that are here and people that are here, because you're going to scale the budgets, right? As you scale, exactly, look, the ad spend here on the x-axis is important, because if you don't scale the ads, well, then the cost is not going to increase. But as you spend more money, and Meta has to deliver that ad to someone, because you're essentially telling to Meta, okay, look, I have $100 here for you to spend today. You have to spend this money, and Meta will take the money and show ads to people. If there is no one that is very interested in your product, Meta is just going to show to the people that are not interested. And so essentially your cost per acquisition will start growing and growing and increasing until a point where it starts becoming really unaffordable for you, because you're not making any profit anymore. And so the important thing that I wanted to touch upon here is that if you have a very product with a large TAM, this slope will be slower, right? You're gonna be able to spend more money and still maintain a stable CPA. So look at here, like this slope could be even lower, right? The lower the slope is, the better, because you're gonna spend way more money and acquiring way more customers, and your cost per acquisition is not gonna increase a lot. And so this is the key for brands that are making like 10 million instead of 1 million with exactly the same effort, right? Especially on the low to medium ticket markets. It's just about the TAM and how many people are you able to sell while maintaining the CPA level, right? And this can be the difference, as I said, this can be the difference between a $1 million brand and a $10 million brand with the same effort. Because when your marketing funnel works, we are assuming that you have product that sells, and you have a marketing angle, and you have a great offer, so you're selling. We are assuming that both brands are selling, but just one has a bigger TAM than the other. And so when your marketing funnel works, the only thing you need to scale is cash flow. Why? Well, when you increase your budgets from $100 to $1,000, Meta has more than 1 billion users every day, right? So it has a lot of people to distribute your ad to. Meta can find people to see your ad pretty easily. So if you give Meta $1,000, Meta can spend $1,000 no problem. The problem is you want to spend the money in a profitable way. So if your cash flow is unlocked, like if you have your bank accounts good enough to scale the budgets, then the only thing that's holding you back is going to be the TAM, right? It's going to be the ideal customer to sell to profitably. And so this is why you can't scale anymore, and then you start like hitting caps on your ad spend and having to slow budgets down again, or not being able to increase anymore because the TAM is just not there. Sometimes it's like this, right? There are a lot of other variables, but I'm saying like there are brands that make way more money than others simply because of this factor. That's why it's so important. Because there are people that you can argue like it's creative saturation, it's creative, you need more creatives and etc. But the truth is there are brands that have super low volume of creatives, but the creatives are so good and the TAM of the product is so high that they can sell and make millions without even like trying a lot of different things and being very, very creative on expanding the marketing channels and the touch points. It's just like basic ads and they can do like millions. That's why, right? And this is why it's extremely important for you to research the niche, the demands, to see if your product actually has a very good high TAM and a big TAM. But if not, you're not going to be able to scale to huge numbers unless you are able to come up with different strategies. And it's possible as well. But if you want an easier path, you choose a product with a big TAM. If you want a harder path, you choose a product with a low TAM, right? With a small TAM. So it's important, as I said, to not look at this variable in a raw sense. What I mean, there are ways that you can bend like the TAM of the product by introducing new variables into the equation. But I'll tell you about this, and I'll be more specific about how you can bend the TAM, like increase it in a way that is not very raw. So you have to be creative and think out of the box how to expand the TAM of your product. This is possible, but I'll go more in depth in the next video. And so this is it. I just wanted to cover this topic of TAM because I think it's really important for brands that are when you're testing new products and you're considering selling new products and adding products to your store. You have to look at this and really take it seriously if you want an easier life in terms of scaling and having more leverage, right? So having more sales with less effort. In the next video, I'm also gonna go about how to price how to go about pricing your products and what are the options in terms of offers. And that's it. So I'll see you on the next video. Drop a question if you have any, and I'll see you on the next one.